Hey guys, Justin from TriBuilder here. And in this video, I'm going to talk about creating videos for your online presence as an online coach. And this is a really common thing that people run into when they get into online coaching is they're like, oh, now I guess I'm a content creator because I need to use social media to promote myself. And I want to create awesome resources for my clients. I want to create some nice free content that helps people and then also gets interest in my work. And then it's like, oh wow, here's another hat I have to wear. I'm now a filmmaker apparently. And so I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in new media, and I did a ton of video projects back in university. And then I got into web design, graphic design, running ads, marketing, copywriting. And so video has always been kind of there's a guy in the background. That's a kind of a strange little detail of this video. So that's always been a secondary skill set of mine. So I'm not really the biggest expert in the world when it comes to doing videos. But the thing is, when you're doing videos for your online coaching business, they don't need to be little Hollywood masterpieces. So my intention for this is to really give you peace of mind and give you a framework or a system that you can use to create the videos that you need to or want to make for your online presence. And a lot of it is knowing what you can ignore, because it can be so overwhelming, all the different options, all the gear, all the software. Where do you even start? I remember when I got into coaching, despite my background, I hadn't done any video in a while, that was part of it, but I was really overwhelmed about where to start. I actually hired a guy he had a digital SLR camera and he was doing videos for me, and he was recording in 4K, and then I wanted him to do little changes, and then he got really angry about it because his kind of budget laptop would take so long to re-render it. And yeah, it was so unnecessary, because it's actually, you don't need any of that fancy stuff. It would be cool to hire somebody if you do have that available to you, but I'm going to assume that you're going to want to do it yourself. So I'm going to break it down right now. So the first thing is it's about the content more so than the production. So really put most of your energy into, like, what is it that you want to say? I keep switching hands. I have a selfie stick. That's a cool thing to buy, by the way, is a selfie stick for these walk and talks. So the first thing is content is king. So I'm going to share a week schedule. I'm going to give you some free ideas. This is a little sneak peek into my course, by the way. It really is about what you're talking about, the ideas that you're sharing. So here's a 5-day schedule. You can do a piece of content Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, so you know that you should be showing up on social media, posting at least 3 to 5 times a week. And you might have had moments where you thought, well, what do I post? Maybe you're just, you're lacking inspiration. You don't know what to do. And so here is a weekly content schedule. You can use this every single week. And what I like to do is I post one piece of content Monday through Friday, and it works great. And so Mondays, you can connect with your audience. You can post a rant, you can throw rocks at the enemy. That I get a lot more into that in my defining the ethos of your tribe module. That's really about defining what you stand for, what you stand against. Sometimes you can, be a little polarizing. And really what you want to do is you want to engage your audience and start discussions with them. Maybe talk about tools that you're using, stuff like that. Tuesdays, share something personal. You can talk about your origin, talk about key moments in your life, in your journey to becoming the coach that you are today. You can share weaknesses. Really just open up and share something personal about yourself that's relevant to your coaching business. Then Wednesday, this is when you can do some coaching. You can share some free knowledge, do some teaching. Sometimes people have a tendency to only post this, and that's very generous, but that's not going to build your business. But here's the time when you can really share some free value. Okay, Thursday. On the flip side of always teaching, sharing knowledge, and never promoting is the person that's always just selling. You don't want to be that person either. But Thursday, you can promote your offers. Usually I'll promote my lead magnets. That's something to get your audience to raise their hand and signal that they're more engaged, more interested in what you're doing. Or you can just straight up promote your signature offer. So, and then Friday, share behind the scenes. So if you just did an event, you can share some photos of that. If you're working on a new course module, maybe share a screenshot or a photo of your laptop. Really just kind of a glimpse into your world of what you're working on. And then you can also showcase clients. If you've just been coaching a client and they've had a breakthrough, you can talk about that. So yeah, and you know, use the schedule as inspiration, and you can move it around a little bit if you want, and you can follow this every single week and just keep showing up and be consistent. That's the main thing. Next is, how do you actually shoot the footage? So you don't need a special camera. So you don't have to think about that anymore. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to research what kind of camera to get or what kind of lenses or microphones or any of that kind of stuff. The truth is, my videos always do have bad sound because I'm here in the Caribbean and it's super windy. I do have a little lapel microphone. If you are going to buy some gear, you could get yourself a little Bluetooth lapel microphone. But my point is, just use your phone. Like, you know, assuming you've got a decent smartphone, just use your phone to record all your videos. I mean, you could create $1 million a month business just recording on your phone. It looks good, it sounds good. You can hold it in your hand like I'm doing now. You can get a selfie stick if you want, or you can get one of those ring lights. It's like a little tripod, and it's got a little thing. You can put your phone in it, and then there's a ring light around it. And they're really inexpensive. You can get them at, like, I don't know, like stores that import a bunch of stuff from China or Amazon. That's something you might want to look into getting, depending on if you have an idea of what kind of videos you want to make. Like if you want to do talking head videos. I like to just do walk and talk videos myself because I find that the movement is good for my thoughts. But anyway, you can think about, do you want to do like a walk and talk, or do you want to just put your camera on a tripod and film? And they're both good, and you can do both for some variety. Another question is, do you want to do portrait mode or landscape mode? That's just simply, are you holding the camera like this or like this? And it's really simple. For long form content, you want to do it's called landscape. It's like where it's wider than it is tall. And for short form content, in other words, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Stories, stuff like that, you want to do portrait mode. But if you want to do YouTube videos, Facebook videos, like it's more like a post rather than a reel, you can do landscape. So that's a decision you want to make. So that's how you capture the footage. Then you want to do you might want to chop it up a little bit and add some text to it and some nice transitions. I do all of that in a program called CapCut. That's the only program you need. It's the only one I use. And I literally have a university degree in the Adobe Creative Suite, where I learned Adobe Premiere, Adobe After Effects, 3D animation. I learned all that stuff. This is a long time ago, granted. But my point is, you don't need any of that stuff, and there's a gazillion other apps out there, and you're welcome to explore. There's some cool stuff with AI and all that, but I don't even get into that. And if you're looking for simplicity and peace of mind, and you're just wanting to commit to a system that works, just go with CapCut. I haven't had this much fun creating media in years since I got into CapCut, which is fairly recently. It's free. I use the desktop version. Some people like to do it on their phone. I don't understand that. I get pain in my hands. It's so small, I can't see the details as well, but some people do genuinely enjoy working like that. CapCut is available for mobile and for desktop. I really recommend desktop. And so what I will do is I will go and I'll capture footage with my phone, and I have an iPhone, and then I use AirDrop to airdrop the clips onto my laptop, my MacBook, and then I import them into CapCut. And so now I'm going to show you the basics that you need to know, everything you need to know really in CapCut. There's more, it does more than I'm going to show you, but I'm going to show you everything you need to know to do some nice videos for your online coaching. Okay, so here I am on my computer and I'm recording this in Zoom, and I've shared my screen, and I'm going to fire up CapCut. So I've got a couple videos here that I'm going to use in this project. I'm going to do some editing, bring it all together here in CapCut. So I select them on my desktop and I click and drag into import. And then I'll just go full screen here. And then this is the timeline. And this is where you create your video. So I just clicked and dragged them onto the timeline. And so the way it is right now, oh, I'm right over top of it. The way it is right now is it plays video clip 1 and then video clip 2. And I want to place this video clip inside of this one. I don't remember exactly where, so I'm probably going to do that off camera. But for the sake of demonstration, I'll just do it anywhere. And so there's just a couple things you need to be able to do with these clips. You need to be able to select them and move them around. And you need to be able to make cuts in them. And there's two hotkeys for that. There's B and there's A. A is the selector tool, and then B is the cut tool. So I just press B, and as you can see, the icon moved from the selector to the slicer. And I'm going to make a slice in the middle. I'm not going to bother finding the exact place that I want to insert this in between, because that would just be a little bit tedious. And so what I did is I pressed A and I went back to the selection tool and I clicked and dragged it in between. And so now it goes from part of that into this and then back to that. And if it's your first time working with CapCut or you're new to it, you might find the behavior of how these clips move around to be a little bit tricky. And I want to bring your attention to these settings here. This is important because there's something called main track magnet. I'm going to turn that off. And now what it does is it like, I'll turn it back on. It like makes them all, as you can see, like go up against each other, and then turn that off. And that can be useful, but it can be frustrating if that's not the way you want it to behave. And then auto snapping. So auto snapping is really useful, but like, so let's say you're doing your editing, you've got a bunch of little clips, and then you play your video and there's like a little bit of a gap in between. And I just thought I'd play it, but I'm gonna, so here's another thing. You can zoom in here
So as you can see, there's like a little gap. And so what auto snapping does is it means that as you can see, there's that line indicator, and that means that it's perfectly up against the previous clip so that there's a seamless, it's supposed to be seamless. Oh, it's actually part of the I think there's a little bit of a black. Yeah, that's why. So I'm going to chop that little bit off. And because auto snapping's on doop, and that's actually really weird. Oh, that's getting a little bit off topic why there's that little bit of black in there. But anyway, so that's auto snapping. Then we've got, what else do we have in here? Linkage. I'll save that for later. That's if you, that's not really important, but like let's say you've got a bunch of layers, like maybe you've got an audio, like, and you want to move all of them together, you can link them. You don't need to know that. If you want to add music to your video, let me just see. There's a website, Epidemic Sound, where you can get royalty-free music. You need to use royalty-free music um, for ethical reasons, as well as if you're posting this publicly, like on social media, um, then you know what? Oh, here we go. So yeah, I've got a bunch of royalty-free MP3s here. I'm going to drag one of those into my project. And CapCut has different layers or whatever on the timeline for audio. And so here I'll zoom out all the way out just so we can see. And yeah, so let's say I wanted to have some background music. Typically, the music's going to be too loud if you're wanting to speak over it. Then that's where the volume, you can turn down the volume here. And then another thing is if you're just recording your video on your phone, the sound should be pretty good, but there's a setting in here, noise reduction, and that's a good thing to put on. It does improve the quality of the sound. So, oh yeah, and then the last thing I want to show you, or a couple things actually. Let's see, I'll just make sure I've got auto snapping on. So I've got these two clips, or you know what, I'll use an example because those are kind of similar. I'll use this example. So you can do transitions um between clips, and that adds a little bit of sleekness to your production. So you can come up here, go to transitions. There's a whole bunch of transitions, different types. Um, my favorite, I like glare, or there's a couple different ones. It's kind of like a light leak effect. You just click it, drag it, and then you can make it longer by dragging it out or shorter. And so I'll let it play and we can see what happens then. Yeah, so that was a really long one. That was like max length. So let's see, like, that's still actually quite long, but you get the idea, right? It's just like, here, we'll make it really, really fast. It's more subtle. Okay, yeah. And then another one that I like is mix is cool because it's more subtle. Some of them are a little bit cheesy. And so it just kind of, pull it out so you can see it better. And it just kind of fades one out and the other one in. You can also do like stuff like this. So that's kind of cool, depending on what kind of project you're doing. Last thing I'm going to show you, and I'm pretty sure this is everything you need, is closed captions or like subtitles. Like everybody adds subtitles to their videos on um, social media. So you go to text, auto captions, generate. give it a moment, and it's going to create a new layer with the subtitles, and then you can give them some styles. I'll get into that in a moment. Okay, and so now, as you can see, we have our layer of closed captions, subtitles, and it's a little bit difficult to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of them, and then I'm going to go into here, and you can change the font, and you can give it a background, and that's going to make it a lot easier to read. So I've given it a background, and then I'm going to change the color of the background. Okay, here we go. So you can change the color. You can select any kind of color you want. If you have brand colors or whatever. If you have a hexadecimal value from your brand guide, you can copy and paste that into there, and that's nice if you're doing that. You've got a font, that you like to use. That's definitely great. I can make it whatever. And that's going to apply that to all of the subtitles. Okay, second last thing is you can apply like that's unfortunate still. Okay, so you can apply like a filter or an adjustment. So can give it a look. And you do that by dragging a filter onto its own layer. My internet's really slow today, so there you go. So see how it's given it that like nice look? I might actually use that for this. The Oppenheimer. And if you want to do it for the whole video, zoom out. It's going to make it easier. And then just drag it so that it covers all your clips. And then if you want to make it a little bit subtle, subtle's always good. You can just turn down the strength to taste. And then similarly, in adjustments, you've got similar kinds of treatments you can give your footage. Okay, so then once you've kind of got something you're happy with, you just come up here, click export, and you don't really need to mess with any of this kind of stuff. Just kind of select where you want to send it to, and this is probably going to be all fine, just the way it is, and then click export, and it's going to render a video file, and then there you go, and then you can upload that to wherever you want to upload it, to your social media or whatever. Okay, real quick, I forgot something really important that I want to share, and that's adding text. And that's going to take your videos to a whole nother level. And what I love about CapCut is that it's so easy to do. And this is how you do it. So come to text here. So yeah, you come to text here because maybe you're in media where you can see your different. Come to text, go add text, default text, click and drag. Maybe you can just double click, probably. Anyway, so that's gonna create this new clip, and you can determine how long you want to show it for by dragging it out. We want just a nice little intro thing. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and then what should we call this? Everything you need to know about video editing as an online coach. So that's kind of big. So I'm going to reduce the font size. Let's go like 13. And then let's give it a background so it's more legible. So scroll down to background, turn on background. That works. And what can be kind of slick is to bring down the opacity of the background so that it just kind of see through it a little bit, but it's still nice and easy to read. And then you can change the alignment here if you want to do right or left or center. I'll stick to center. And then here's the really cool part. click over to animation, and you could do an animation in here and an animation out. So let's do anyone really. We can select bounce left, and we can make, by default, it's going to be a half a second, but we can pump that up to even like a whole second, and then you can see what's going on. Boom. Kind of cool. And then you can animate it out. Just pick anyone that looks good to you. That one. And it's a second long, and this is probably too long, the clip, I mean. So let's see how it looks now.
Hey guys, Justin from TriBuilder here.
So it zooms in. It's still a really long. And then fast forward a little bit to see the end,
And this is a really
to see the outro animation. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Play around with it, pick ones you like. And yeah, that's how to add text. Okay, so yeah, so just to recap, content is king. Use my weekly schedule of ideas to really captivate your audience. And you can hold the phone while you record, or you can throw it on a tripod. Both are good options. Or you can even get a friend to hold it for you if you want. A lovely assistant, you could say. Then, yeah, record on your phone, AirDrop to your desk, to your laptop, import it into CapCut, chop it up in CapCut, add sound if you want, add some transitions, and voila.